Good morning. This video we're going to look at problem number 21 in the HiSET free practice test 6A. If you haven't already done so, go ahead and read the problem and try to solve it. Pause the video right now and do that. Okay, so looking at important information from here. You went 65 miles per hour for 208 miles. You went 348 miles total, and it took 6 hours. You want to know the average speed for the rest of the trip, so after the 208 miles. So when we're looking at average speed, we need to find out two things. We need to find out the miles and the hours. Okay, so for the rest of the trip, we want to find out the miles and the hours. The miles part, that's easy. So to find out the miles, we're going to take the total 348 and subtract how many miles we've gone. So 208, excuse me. When we subtract those, we get 140 miles are left. So we're going 140 miles and we want our miles per hour. So now we need to know, okay, well, how many hours are left? We know that it's 6 hours total. Excuse me. And we know that we went 208 miles for 65 miles per hour. So how many hours are left? I like to do that by setting up like a little ratio. So if we looked at how many miles for the rest of the trip. Now we're looking at how many hours for the rest of the trip. So we went 65 miles for 1 hour. And this is, I'm talking about 65 miles per hour, so it would be 65 miles for 1 hour for 208 miles. So we want that ratio to equal, so 208 miles is how many hours? Okay, so how many, let me scoot that over. How many hours are we looking at for the 208 miles? Well, essentially, I'm looking at this and I want to say, what do I multiply 65 times what equals 208? And then whatever that what is, I multiply on the bottom too. Top and bottom multiply by the same thing. Well, I can just look at that and say, okay, what is 208? 208 divided by 65. Okay. When I divide those two, I'm going to get 2.8. If you don't know how to do that long division, I'll attach another video to do that. So 208 divided by 65, 2.8. So we're looking at 65 miles per hour for 208 miles. Well, I'm going to multiply this by 2.8. So I multiply the bottom by 2.8. 1 times 2.8 gives me 2.8 hours. Okay, so I've gone 140 miles, and I've gone 2.8 hours. So let's fill that in, 2.8 hours. So now the question says the average speed in miles per 1 hour. So if I take 140 divided by 2.8, 140 miles divided by 2.8 hours, that will give me my unit, which would be in my miles per hour. So I'm going to say 2.8 goes into 140. And I'm like, this looks ugly. This is not going to be easy to do. I'm going to estimate it. What if I just said 3 goes into 150? Because that's super easy. So 3 goes into 15 5 times. Multiply through, subtract, 0, bring down my 0, 3 goes into 0, 0, so 50. So I think my answer, looking over here, I think my answer is 50, based on my estimate. And if I was running out of time, being quick, I would just say 50 and move on. But if I have enough time, I want to be precise, so I'm going to say, okay, 2.8, move my decimal over, multiply this by 10, multiply this by 10. So 28 goes into 140 how many times? I could do a guess and check. And then I know that 28 times 5 is 140. So that's the key factor that you need to know. So 28 times 5 is 140. Subtract, gives me 0, bring down my 0, gives me 0, 28 goes into 0 0 times, and sure enough, 50 is the right answer. So my estimate this time did give me the exact right answer. So 50 miles per hour. I hope this video helps. Have a great day.